Hosts, guests, and callers who are responsible for their content and do not reflect the opinions of InTouch Radio or its staff.
Hello, welcome to College Cash. This is a podcast all about keeping cash in your pocket during your educational journey. And I'm your host, Money Michelle, hopefully navigating you to nuggets of information worth thousands of dollars. And speaking of thousands of dollars, today I am so excited to introduce a future FAMU graduate. Her name is Nadia Buggs, and she is going to tell us all about her educational journey through Florida A&M. Nadia will be joining us in just a moment, but you know I always like to start each and every show reminding you about the Fantastic Five. And I'll stop as soon as Nadia gives us a call right in here to the station. Real quick, I do want to mention the phone number because even though Nadia's calling, you can feel free to call in at any time. And you can always email me at moneymichelle03@gmail.com. I take pride in that this show is an interactive show. So many webinars or Zooms, you can't even talk to the person. I'm all about talking to you. I'm volunteering to get this done for you. I want to make sure that anyone who is listening to this broadcast, when you finish, you know the 5 steps to apply to college. So keep in mind, you can call me at 813-444-9588. Absolutely anytime you like, or you can always email me at moneymichelle03@gmail.com. So before Nadia calls us, you should be able to know what these 5 steps are right now if you've heard us before. The first one, always, always, always find out if you have a fee waiver. You never know. Remember, if you're in Hillsborough County, in Pinellas County, anywhere in, I'm assuming the state of Florida, but definitely those two, you will have to fill out the form that is the free and reduced lunch form. Some of you may be thinking, there's no way I qualify for free and reduced lunch. You probably don't, but still fill the form out anyway so that you get used to filling out things that can potentially get you free money. Nobody wants to turn that down, so just fill it out. You also may be thinking, now I need to make this crystal clear because Hillsborough County, Pinellas County, several different counties around Florida are now automatically qualifying for free lunch. So you may be thinking, I don't need to fill this form out because my student already gets free lunch. That could be well and true that they get free lunch because their school is a free lunch school. However, to get the fee waiver, so that you can apply to colleges for free, so that you can get your free SAT test, so that you can get your free ACT test, so that you can send your scores to colleges for free, as many of them as you want, you will need to fill out the free and reduced lunch paper or on the website. And I've looked on Hillsborough County websites. It says, stop, don't fill this out if your school is ABC and gets free and reduced lunch. I checked with them. You do still need to fill it out. So I stress that over and over and over again. Always for my Fantastic Five, the first one is free and reduced lunch, making sure you fill it out for that fee waiver. Number 2, we've talked extensively about filling out the Common App. Keep in mind, if this is your first time hearing me on air, call in, email me. I'll be happy to go through these things in much more detail for you. But right now, we're just kind of going through them so that we always have them available at the very beginning of the show and at the end of the show. And then I even talk to my guest about it as well. All right, so 1, fee waiver. 2, fill out the Common App. Number 3, find your counselor. It is very, very important that you find your counselor at your high school. Moms, dads, grandmas, parents, whoever is listening, make sure you know the name of your student's counselor. That's in any grade, 9th graders, 10th, whatever. Find out your counselor's name. By 12th grade, the reason why that's so important is because it is your counselors who can give you the instructions on how to actually send your transcripts. Very, very important. Each school, again, is different on how they send transcripts. All right, so fee waiver, fill out the Common App, find your counselor. Number 4, forward those test scores. You actually have to go into ACT.org or your College Board account, put the schools that you want to send the test scores to into the account, and forward the scores. So that is very important. And then, of course, all of our favorite FAFSA, FAFSA, FAFSA. I will have more information for you on FAFSA. It did actually open up from what I'm understanding, but I do kind of want just to get some of the bumps in the road maybe figured out a little bit before we talk extensively about FAFSA on the show. So let me check in. Is Nadia here? Do I need to text her? She was just here. Let me try to text her and tell her go ahead and give us a call in right now. Oh, there she is. Perfect timing. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so excited to hear from you. I want to introduce you properly. This is Nadia Buggs. She is a senior at FAMU, and I will have to say I've known Nadia since she was about 2. How far apart are you and Lauren?
About a year and a half.
So I've known you about a year and a half since you were a year and a half year old. This time flies so much. And I love to talk to students that I've known for a long time because I know your journey. I watched it, but it's so great to
Right.
see and to hear you guys talk about it yourselves. So, all right, we talked about where you go to school. You're a senior. What
Mhm.
is your major?
My major is actuarial science.
And see, we can stop right
Um,
there. What in the world is that? And that's why I wanted to have Nadia on here because I know that that particular major is not necessarily one that very many people have heard of. All right, say the name of the major again.
actuarial science.
Okay. What?
So,
Yeah,
um,
I'm looking at Bezel.
what
He's like, what is that? What
Right.
is that? I don't even know if I can say it. Actuarial science. Am I saying it correctly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what
Yes.
is that?
So that is basically it's within the insurance realm, and you'd be working. You're kind of like the you run the risks, and like you figure out the risks of different aspects, and it will help us to help like the insurance company to price the products or the coverages. And so there's different sectors. You can get into all of that, like reinsurance and all these crazy, amazing things within insurance. But yes, basically, you kind of make the decisions for the company.
So basically, what you're trying to tell me is you're going to determine how much my insurance is going to cost in the future?
Yes,
Oh,
basically.
thanks a lot. I'm gonna need you to remember me. No, I mean, obviously she figures it out for the entire industry. But I want to find out, Nadia, because I hadn't even heard of that until maybe a couple years ago. How did you figure that out as a major?
My son had mentioned it in high school, and I didn't really know what it was. But when I went to go look into it, it aligns with a lot of things that I was interested in.
Mhm.
First, business, and then two, statistics. And I loved statistics, and I loved math, but I didn't want to be a math teacher or a mathematician necessarily. I just kind of wanted to apply my skills to business, I guess.
Okay, all right. And I love what you said. A friend told you about it. And, in some situations, your friends can actually give you good information. In other situations, they cannot. But I
Very
love,
much.
Nadia, that you learned a new word and you basically you went and Googled it. And how'd you, what was it like when you first heard about that particular major or um, degree or job type career?
Um, Well, when I had looked into it and it kind of described everything that I could see myself doing, I was like, okay, this is definitely a big one for me. I had maybe 3 options as of what I wanted my major to be. So I kind of looked into schools that had that focus.
So Nadia,
Um,
on what I like to try because and I'll back this up again. Nadia is very smart. We'll talk about her high school and her grades, and obviously you can hear how intelligent she is. And there are a lot of really smart people out there, but they don't have any resources. They don't know. So Nadia, when you're saying you looked into it, how? How did you do that? Because there's people out there who want to look into things, they don't know where to start. So, literally, when you say I looked into it, what did you do?
Man, I literally just Googled it.
Exactly.
I honestly, like, the only thing I did, I Googled the word, I saw the median, salary range.
Which is what?
And
What is that salary
um,
range?
it was like, I'd say like a little bit over six figures.
Mm-hmm.
But the range was it ranged, it was a big range, though.
I saw something where it could get as high as like $300,000 a year.
Right. But that's like, you have to be like the executive.
Oh, yeah, way down the line. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I've been down my line because I'm much older and I'm still not at 300,000. So to know about things that can get you to $300,000 at the age of, you found out about this when you were 16ish or so. And so,
Mhm.
looking 30, 40 years down the road, if you're looking at the opportunity where you could make $300,000, that's way more than what I'm making right about now. So I like the fact that you looked towards the future.
For sure, for sure.
Okay.
And
So,
it also has like a lot of potential, like there's a big demand for this job.
okay. So you looked into it, you found different schools that had the program. How did you do that?
That's a good question. I don't have the answer to that. I don't really know how I exactly found which schools did or didn't. But I mostly was focused on HBCUs, so whatever HBCU I was looking at, I kind of just saw if they had it or not.
So I know that you were interested in Howard. You ended up going to
Yeah.
FAMU, but I also know there was another
Mhm.
school. There was Tennessee State that your dad went to, and that my husband went to. And I remember you did not look at Tennessee State because it didn't have that major, and that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. They had that major, and they also didn't give me the full ride scholarship that I was hoping for. So I think if I had gotten a full ride scholarship, I would be going to Tennessee State. But things just changed, and I ended up changing my mind to go to Howard. Then I changed my mind to go to FAMU. It just, things change.
Yeah, but I like the fact that you already knew what you wanted to major in, and you knew you wanted to go to an HBCU. And, we all have access to Google. And once you configure the major and the type of school you want to go to, that's when you literally just get on Google and start putting things in and see what comes up. So, you took
Mhm.
something that you'd never heard of before, and you turned it into a way to find out how to craft the rest of your life, which is everyone is not going to be able to do that, and everyone doesn't have to do that. But the fact that you were able to do that at such a young age is just incredibly, incredibly commendable.
Thank you.
So, all right. So we talked about what your major is. We talked about how you selected your major. We talked about the outlook for your major, and of course, the potential income that you could make, well into the future of your major. But now let's back up a little bit and let's talk about your preparation in high school. What kind of a student? What were you as far as in high school?
Um, who I was in high school, she's completely different from who I am now. But I think I just was naturally very like I'm not gonna brag, but I think I was just naturally smart and good at school.
Mm-hmm.
So taking the honors and the AP classes wasn't hard for me. Like I look forward to taking certain AP classes. I took a total of 6 AP classes over my high school career, and I didn't really do a lot of extracurriculars either. I did play volleyball, but other than that, I was not active in like other school activities because I didn't really have much of a social life or really knew like what was out there for me. So,
How do you feel about that? Do you think that do you wish that you'd kind of participated in more things?
not really. Because I didn't really favor my high school, so if I maybe favored my high school, I would maybe regret the fact that I didn't get into those things.
Mhm.
But I got the GPA I needed. I got the grades I needed, and I'm happy where I'm at now. So
That's
I don't
good.
really regret it.
That's awesome. And that's the thing. Some people want to get into more activities, some people don't. The fact that you played volleyball though, and I remember you were pretty hardcore with volleyball. Like you played school volleyball, you did travel volleyball, you did a whole lot of volleyball. So, that
Yeah.
was your main activity. And what I want students to understand is an activity is anything that you're doing when you're awake and not at school. It doesn't have to be a sport. It doesn't have to be a club. It certainly can be, but I met a student who loves to read. So if that's your activity, if reading is your activity, you would talk about the types of books that you read. You would talk about why you read. You would talk about what you learned from the different things that you read. So I love the fact, Nadia, that, your main activity obviously was volleyball. Now, were you able to write about that at all in some of your college applications, or did you list it? Because, it asked your activities on the Common App. Did you list volleyball?
Right. I think I did. Yeah, I definitely did, and talked about my teamwork that is required while I was doing club and school volleyball. So I think that's a really big factor that colleges look for, the ability to work with the team and learn from your mistakes.
Oh, that's really good. That's another thing about playing a sport. Maybe you're not the absolute best on the team, but
Mhm.
you're on the team, and there's a lot that you can learn simply from working with other people. And there's opportunity to get leadership roles within your sport. So if you're listening and you're thinking, okay, well, I play volleyball, but I'm not that good, that doesn't matter. Right? Isn't that right,
Right.
Nadia? Okay, just wanted to double check.
Because I know I wasn't that good. So
I didn't want to say that, but I'm just saying. I'm sorry, Nadia. Forgive me. But you've got to understand whether you're great or whether you're just on the team, it matters because you're able to talk about what you learn in any type of a situation that you are with whatever sport that you're participating in. Okay, so I heard you say that you took about 6 AP classes.
yeah.
Okay. And that you obviously had good grades. What is your definition? You don't have to tell me your exact GPA, but what would you suggest that students aim for in regards to having a good GPA?
Definitely a B. Like anything lower than a B. I feel like in college is different, but in high school I think B's were doable.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's all you could hope for, pray for at that point.
Mm-hmm. So obviously, absolutely no lower than a cumulative GPA of a 3.0.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that's a great suggestion because that's where Bright Futures starts. In order for you to get the second tier of Bright Futures, you do have to have a 3.0. But I like for students to understand that 3.0 is not comprised of basket weaving 101. It's comprised of your core classes. And I say basket weaving just to say, random electives that you got all
Right.
C's in English, math, and science, but then you think that that's going to count as your 3.0, and it doesn't. So, it's important for students to understand that GPA of a 3.0 is with your core classes. Wouldn't you say, Nadia?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that's great. And then talk to me a little bit about the did you end up liking? Well, I know you did, but because your mom had told me that y'all ended up liking the SAT. So what helped? How did you decide that it was the SAT that you liked more than the ACT? Or do you remember? Or did you only take the SAT?
I took the ACT once, and I really didn't like it. I just the test was I feel like it was more hardcore. I feel like some parts of it, I think the math part is easier or something like that. But I think it's really heavy within science,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not a fan of science at all. Like I feel like even on the SAT, I didn't want to even do the science part. I don't think I answered all those questions because I'm just not. I think the science part really was even reading comprehension heavy, and I am not really a fan of either of those. So,
Right.
yeah.
But you were obviously able to make it through enough to get some financial aid in certain areas. So I'll say
Yeah.
this, just like Nadia, like the SAT, my son Robbie, completely opposite. He thought he liked the SAT until he took the ACT. And then he ended up liking, I mean, nobody really likes any of the tests. I mean, let's be real. It's not like you're going to be waking up saying, oh, I'm excited to take the SAT. But you do
Right.
have to take them both and pick which one you perform better on. So for Nadia, it was the SAT. I'm trying to remember what it was for Ashton because I interviewed Ashton a couple weeks ago. I know for Robbie, it was the ACT. I don't remember which one it was for Ashton, but the point is take both tests and then see which one you do better on. Now, let's talk through some of your test prep. What did you do?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember at all. I think I maybe had a workbook and worked on those questions, but other than that, I don't think I really prepped heavily for the test.
Okay, so then your mom must have learned from you because I know your sister did Myers tutoring. So there's an opportunity to do test prep on your own, or of course there's an opportunity to use different organizations. You can use Khan Academy. There's all sorts of test prep out there. The moral of the story is, and I'm sure you would agree, Nadia, do something. Don't just go in and take the test.
Now that I think about it, I think I did do tutoring.
Yeah, I thought you probably did.
Yeah, I did. I definitely did.
You got all that blocked out. It's like, oh, that was high school. Who in the world wants to think about any of that?
Exactly.
That makes sense. But good. We do know that you did some test prep. So just like we talked about, what is a good, strong GPA? What do you think is a good, strong SAT score? Minimum that you should be aiming for, at least.
I think a 1200 is.
And I think you're exactly right. I would say 1210 just to be on the safe side, because the 1210 on the SAT and the 25 on the ACT, that again is what gets you to Bright Futures. And Bright Futures pays at that level, it pays 75% of your tuition here in the state of Florida. Now the next level is 1340 for the SAT and 29 for the ACT to get the 100% Bright Futures. So I like the fact, Nadia, that you are consistent in my thoughts where, students, you need to have a 3.0 and that 3.0 needs to be of your core, your English, your math, your science, your social studies, your foreign language. What'd you do for foreign language?
I did Spanish.
Now,
1 and 2.
Did you have to take any more Spanish in college?
No, I did not.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. But again, that foreign language, that's still incorporated into your score, and 2 years of a foreign language is also required for Bright Futures. And Nadia, I talk a lot about Bright Futures because the name of my show is College Cash and I'm Money Michelle. So my goal is to get students as much money as possible for college, and Bright Futures is the absolute easiest way to start. But you can't start when you're a junior and you already tanked your GPA, right?
Right.
So did you know, and I already know the answer to this because her dad's a principal. Of course you knew to keep your GPA up and to do the very best you could on the SAT.
Exactly. I think just with going back to like the getting B's in all your classes, things that, even if I didn't know the specifics of Bright Futures, I knew that, I had to have at least a B to get, somewhere, have like a stepping stone to even get a scholarship to get Bright Futures and to get into college.
Yep, you're exactly right. And, the good thing about this is for families listening, it's not too late. It's never too late if you're starting in 9th grade or even 10th grade. I will say, though, if your GPA is well below a 3.0 and you're in 11th grade, you may want to look at retaking some classes. You can always retake classes on Florida Virtual. Some schools have credit recovery where you can retake classes. Even though you passed it maybe with a D, credit recovery will allow you to retake the class and it will help to improve your GPA. So it's very, very important. A lot of people think that their GPA is not that big of a deal. It is a huge deal. In fact, some college admissions people really look at the GPA and the rigor of your classes even more so than your test score. And so, Nadia, it's commendable that you were able to take that many AP courses and, of course, still keep above a 3.0. So we talked a little bit about money. So take me through your senior, you've got good grades, you've got good test scores. Take me through your financial aid packages, like your scholarships. Like, what did you find you were getting?
So I did not get a lot of financial aid when it came to like the schools I was applying to. I did have a full ride scholarship to Tennessee State, but it never really came through. Like it was, I had it, but it just didn't like work out.
You gotta do some schools. You gotta do extra follow up work.
Yeah. Howard gave me $8,000 for financial aid, and for the rest of the schools, I didn't get any.
Okay.
So with that being said, I feel like if I had, I was more active in school, in other activities, I probably would have got more money. Because, I did have a good GPA and everything, but I guess that wasn't enough. And I didn't get any financial aid help from, FAFSA or anything. So all I had was Bright Futures, the 75% Bright Futures package.
All you had, that's absolutely excellent. That means that 75% of your tuition was paid for. And that is a big deal. So what did you, obviously getting the GPA, obviously getting the test score. Tell me about the paperwork. Obviously, none of it's on paper anymore. It's all on the computer. But what was a big step you had to take to be able to get that Bright Futures?
I do not remember. I don't remember at all, actually.
The FFAA. Yep. And that's the main thing that students have to remember. And I stress this because a lot of kids may think, well, I'm not going to go to school in Florida. I'm going to go to school out of state, or I'm going to go do something else, or whatever. It is still important for you to fill out that FFAA. It's the Florida financial aid application. And it's online. And that is another huge step that students need to make sure that they do. So, great job with all of that, Nadia. Now, we're in school. We found some money. Here's the thing that I'm so excited to talk to you about. Because, like you said, you really didn't get that much financial aid. But, Nadia, you went to FAMU and you found more money. How?
So I've only had a scholarship for one semester, and that was through one of my internships. They gave me about $5,000 for school. Actually, it was before I even went to the internship. So I was in this program, and they gave me this set amount of money to aid me for school.
Okay, stop there. You said I was in this program. What is the program?
So it's called Liberty Excel. It is for sophomores and juniors in college who it's with Liberty Mutual Insurance, and you can have any major really, like business to tech to anything you can think of. For me, actuarial science, that was a big one. They need a lot of students within there. And basically you just apply, you do a case study, you have the chance to make money through the case study, and then they give you a guaranteed internship and a scholarship, like I just mentioned.
And it was a $5,000 scholarship?
Yeah.
That's great. I have, and it's through Liberty Mutual, you said?
Yeah.
So, and this was something that you found once you got to FAM. Did you apply for it your freshman year or sophomore year?
I actually did not apply for it. They reached out to me. I got a random phone call, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna put you on this," and I was like, "Okay."
And you know what, Nadia? That is such a. I love the fact that you said that. It's odd, but not really, because that's why you go to HBCUs. I remember when I was in Hampton, I was just casually walking to class, and she was like our career counselor. She just was like, "Oh, Michelle, I got an internship. Come by my office. Just just calling my name." I go by the office. She's like, "Yeah, I want you to go intern at the White House." It's like, what? What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that happens at HBCUs. Just like you just said, you don't know how you got that phone call. It's just a random phone call that dropped out the sky, and you got $5,000. That's the kind of stuff
Right.
that literally will happen at a HBCU because
Every day.
yeah, they know you, they know who you are, and they are the teachers and the deans and the people over helping kids find money, and literally stuff like that happens. So I'm not even going to ask you about the random phone call because I'm sure it really was random. Somebody did some work somewhere and gave somebody your name, but you probably don't know that
Okay.
information. You were just in the right place at the right time. And so I say that there are parents out there, maybe your student is in FAMU right now. Maybe you're hoping for one of those random phone calls. Well, if you didn't get the random phone call, you at least now know to ask about what is it called again? The Liberty Mutual program, or is it a specific name?
Liberty Mutual Excel program.
Okay, so that's something that if you've never heard of it, but you're looking for some resources, try the Liberty Mutual Excel program. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay, at FAMU.
Right now,
Mhm.
right now it is for only FAMU and Howard students.
Oh, it's for Howard as well.
And yeah.
Oh, okay. What is do you remember the dates of when students can kind of find out about it and apply?
Yeah, so you apply for it like early fall semester. The applications opened up this recent fall, and then the program starts around October, November time. And I think November time is when you present your case study.
What
And
was
you guys, it's meeting once a week or something.
Oh, okay. What was your case study? What'd you do?
So it was basically like a project that obviously Liberty Mutual wanted to work on a little bit.
Oh, so they
But,
give you a case study.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh, that's cool.
They're like, how do you think we should go about this? And basically, it was like a country, like let's say Ghana. I don't know if Ghana was no, I think it was Brazil. It was Brazil that was our country.
Really?
And they went to put like some, I don't know, tech companies and insure tech companies within Brazil, and they were asking how should we strategically, implant these insure tech companies within Brazil,
Wow.
and that was what we had to present.
Oh, that's awesome. And just from doing that, doing the application, you got the $5,000 scholarship, you got an internship, and
Mhm.
I don't want to spoil the surprise, but I think I know what else you got from this. But we're gonna build our way up. I gotta see. Are we gonna take a break? Okay, so we're gonna take a short break. Nadia, obviously stay on the line because we got a whole 30 more minutes, a whole lot more of your story that I'm super excited to hear about. So make sure you stay on the line, even though it will probably go silent to you. But we'll make sure to
Okay.
tell you when to start talking again. Okay? Be right back. Remember, this is College Cash with Money Michelle.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
This is Attorney Clinton Paris. Accidents are beyond your control, but deciding who will represent you is your decision. If you've been injured, call me at the law office of Clinton Paris for a free consultation. 813-413-7924. Offices Riverview.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecues? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some. and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Red Man, mama, the Red Man.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for ya. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown. 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Hello, welcome back to College Cash. This is the podcast all about helping you keep money in your pocket during your educational journey. And speaking of money, I'm Money Michelle, navigating you to nuggets of information, hopefully worth thousands of dollars. Today we have our student from FAMU. She is a senior, actually almost done with her 4 years of college. Miss Nadia Buggs, thank you so very much for joining us on the show. Before the break, we were discussing a $5,000 scholarship that she was able to just find on her own. So, Nadia, let's finish up talking about that through the Liberty Mutual Excel program. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm so super proud of you for doing that because, you know, kids don't, and I shouldn't call y'all kids, I'm sorry. Students don't understand that you have to answer your phone, check your voicemails, check your emails, and respond. And simply by you doing that, you were able to come up on some money. And I mean, that is wonderful.
Right.
But Nadia, I know that there's something else that you did too that helped to give you financial aid. What is that?
Yes. So, wait. I'm not fully.
You don't know which one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're an RA, Nadia, remember?
Oh. Well, I want to consider that financial aid, right?
Oh, that's big financial aid. Yes, it is.
So I also am an RA on my campus. So since I do pay for, the 25% of my tuition, and I have to pay for housing and, a meal plan, I, being an RA also came to me as well. I didn't even have to really do too much to become one. Kind of just fell in my lap, just like the Liberty Excel program. But with being an RA, I get half off of tuition, and I also get paid every 2 weeks. So it has been a great benefit to my life.
Yes.
Being an RA.
That's why that's considered financial aid. That's remarkable, Nadia. And
Yeah.
keep in mind, what is an RA? There may be some people out there, there probably definitely are, they have no idea what the letter R and the A stands for. So what is that?
Yes, so RA is a resident assistant. You basically have your own floor instead of students that you, lead and help, get situated within their residence halls. And you create programs for them, like have them come to events, encourage them to, do scholarships, get involved in school, and you create relationships with these students, and it is a really great job, very fulfilling.
Yeah, and when did you become an RA? Weren't you like a sophomore? I thought you became an RA like super quick.
I became an RA the summer after sophomore year. So I was going into my junior year, and I stayed for the summer of that summer, and I really didn't know where I was going to stay, where I was going to live. So I ended up applying to become an RA, and everything kind of just fell in my favor, and I became an RA within our newest residence hall, and it was very, very peaceful, very nice.
Wow.
And
Did you
it
get
kind
your
of gave
own
me
room?
like a view. I did.
So that's another big perk. And then you kind of glossed over the fact that you get what type of a tuition assistance? Like what do you get because you're an RA? I think I heard you say 25%. What?
Oh, that was I was talking about the tuition, but for RA you get half of. I saw it saying you get half off housing, and then
Oh.
you get paid.
Oh, okay.
Every 2 weeks.
So your Bright Futures was covering the 75%, and then
Right.
you were able to get half off on your housing just because you were an RA. But then you also still got a paycheck?
Yes, thankfully.
I'm telling you, Nadia. I mean, and I love your story because there are going to be some students out there. If you don't get Pell Grants, you don't necessarily qualify for any of the federal grants or federal student aid opportunities or state aid opportunities. I want you to know there are still ways to get money. And, half of your room and board, that's like, so you got the $5,000 from Liberty Mutual, you're getting half of your room and board paid for. You do have Bright Futures. I mean, you've kind of pieced together, a significant financial aid package for yourself when at first
Okay.
you didn't have very much. And so,
Right.
I want students to understand no matter what income you come from, it could be a higher level, a mid-level, or a lower level income. There's money out there for everyone, but you have to understand that you have to make an effort. And if you're hearing me, then you're making the very first effort because you're finding a resource, you're finding a way to watch a show. Oh, and by the way, this is a call-in show. It's 813-444-9588. Or you can always email me at moneymichelle03@gmail. And I'll try to make sure I always answer any questions that come up during the show because I want it to be an interactive show. So, Nadia, how has it been being an RA? Was it fun or was it too hard or stressful? What was it like?
I think it's fun. It is a little kind of annoying. I feel like housing can be a little unorganized. But other than that, I think, I love doing like DoorDex and like creating fun stuff. Like, I get to work with construction paper and draw and paint. And I like doing things like that. So, it allows me to be creative. And then it also allows me to get to know my residents, which I'm not a very, I'm not a person who likes to talk a lot. I'm not an extrovert really. So having, these students that come up to me, ask me questions, it is very, it makes me happy.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good to hear. And I've been wanting to find out because I remember your mom told me you were an RA. I'm like, what? So I've been waiting to hear this story. So I figured, well, might as well do it on the show. So this is perfect. Okay, so that is super exciting. You were able to become an RA your junior year and into your senior year. Do you know what the criteria was to become that? I mean, I'm assuming you had to have some decent grades.
Yes, so you have to have above a 2.75 GPA, and you have to keep that up. Like if you go below it while you're RA, you will be on probation. So they are pretty strict with those rules. And you have to, I guess, have any type of like leadership skills. You have to be able to work with a team. They definitely, like within the application process, they kind of test you on, they don't know it. The people that are applying don't know it, but they're going to test you in a certain situation. And they're going to ask, like, they're going to watch you work with a team and see how you do. So it is kind of rigorous, like the whole process of becoming an RA. You have to also know the current RA, so it is about connections a lot.
Got it. That is a really important thing to hear. So when you say know the current RA, obviously as like a freshman and a sophomore, you should know your RA because you have to know them because they're on your floor helping to take care of you. So how did you get to know your RA and find out about the program?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I can't tell you who my RAs were. freshman
But
year.
you figure something out.
So I did not have a relationship with any of my RAs for my first 2 years at all. Like, and I don't. But I tell you, it fell on my lap. It fell on my lap. Like, it really did. So I think now that I am an RA, I'm like, okay, that is important. But you know, on the back end, like before, it didn't have any significance to me and who my RAs were and things like that. Because I was very independent as a resident, so I didn't ever have to ask anybody for anything. So I think that just is something that's so different about my story.
It must have been, again, somewhere where somebody was watching you and picked you as a leader and someone who could help to shepherd other students. But for those we need to just walk around and follow you, and because money falls out the sky. But for the rest of the people out there who might want to become RAs, what would you suggest?
Oh, I would suggest, talking to your RA. The people that do talk to me, they are a little bit interested in becoming RAs. And, I give it to them straight. I told them my whole story about how it happened. I told them apply during the summer because you don't have to do half the stuff you have to do now to become a fall one. Wow. I have all the, little...
tips and tricks?
I guess.
What would be your biggest suggestion?
My biggest suggestion would be to build a connection with your main RA. I don't think you have to talk to everybody. I don't think you have to. I think you should talk to the RD because that is who is going to pick you.
What's the
at
RD?
The end of the day.
What's the RD?
The resident director. That is somebody who is my boss.
Okay.
And she is over that building specifically. So basically, with us for the next fall, she give us recommendations of who you would like to be on the team next year. And so I literally, if they tell me that they want to be an RA, I just put in their name. I say, hey, this person wants to be an RA, and she will go and look at your application and see if that person fits.
So that's probably how you ended up with it falling in your lap. Somebody probably recommended you, and you may not have known. So that's, but that speaks to the fact that people are always watching. I think that's a different thing about high school and college. In high school, but once you get to college, every day is an interview. When you're walking around, how you conduct yourself, who you're nice to, who you're not nice to. To me, it seems like you really have to always put your best foot forward in college when you're out and about, because you just don't know who can help you, who knows people. Am I correct, Nadia? I mean, I'm not trying to make it sound stressful, like you got to be perfect every day. But do you understand what I mean? Like, what do you think?
Yes. Yeah, I personally, I was just telling myself this other day. I was like, wow, you do kind of have to, have a good, what's the word?
Personality?
You just have to, have a good name, to yourself.
Reputation. Reputation.
And I wouldn't, yes. And I wouldn't say that I'm perfect every day. I'm definitely not. But I think, that's what I love about college. You just meet new people every day, and you're able to build connections and see what's out there. There's so many opportunities here. There's so many opportunities at FAMU, and if I could tell everybody to come here, I would, because FAMU is one of the best schools, and the connections here are just amazing, and they open so many doors for you.
And I'm so happy to hear you say that, but I will say this: trying to find the opportunities at FAMU are like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It sounds to me like once you get there, that's when you're able to really, that's when more doors open up for you, because it's like you made it through, you got in, maybe you had to pay it first, but then once you become a sophomore, is that when more financial opportunities open up for you at FAMU?
For sure. Because, with internships and things like that, they don't hire freshmen. It's very rare if they're going to hire a freshman, because freshmen don't have many
skills.
Don't have, a lot on their resume to show. So, after sophomore year is a time to really start looking for internships and scholarships and opportunities, even things like externships and things like that
What's an
so
externship?
important.
What's an externship?
Like just it might be like a seminar with a certain company. It might be just like an informational, like nothing too crazy. They might have you like a small project or just be able to like talk about your experience with that one company. It won't be anything too long or rigorous either. Just something that kind of gets your name in the door with that specific company, and they will acknowledge your name. They'll be like, "Oh, this person did this before. Oh, okay, we're going to hit them up to do an internship in the future."
So how do you go about getting an externship? Did you do any?
I don't know if this was considered an externship, but with Liberty Mutual, I did do a HBCU Unite program, and I think that they really saw how committed I was to it. Although it didn't require much work. It was like a meeting like once a week, but
That's a lot of work,
yeah,
Nadia. Anything you have to do on a consistent, regular basis, that's a lot. So you said you went to a meeting once a week?
it was just online, and it was you really just have to be there every week. It's not a big deal because it's just like a Zoom call, and they're just like teaching you things. It's nothing crazy though. Like in my opinion, like it didn't take much to show up. Even if it meant I was busy and like I might have been working during the time, and like I still was on the Zoom, I just needed them to know that I was present and that I was listening. And it didn't take it doesn't take too much for me at least. For other people, I think that's what brought me to the Liberty Excel program. What made it work on my end because they recognized how I always was in attendance, and even though I didn't participate or necessarily talk too much, they knew that I cared and I wanted to be there, and so that's all it really took for them to be like, okay, she's committed.
Yeah. And that half of life, probably 3/4 of life, is just simply showing up and participating. And I know it doesn't seem like a big deal to you, but to be consistently present in something is a big deal. There's students out there, they don't go to class every day. I mean, they can't even
Right.
be consistent with just getting to school. And, because of your environment and how you were brought up, this is no big deal to you. But for a lot of students out there, you have to make the choice every day to show up. And you may have friends who are not doing that. You may have family circumstances where it's very difficult for you to even be able to show up. If that is your situation, reach out for help. Email me, moneymichelle03@gmail. If you want to show up consistently and you're struggling and you don't know how to do that and you're in high school, you need to tell someone, because there are people, if you want to succeed, if you want to show up, there are people out there who want to help you. For Nadia, it was just common sense. She just knew to do it. But it's not like that for everyone. And so, something that's not a big deal to you, Nadia, I want to make sure that you, first of all, know you need to be commended. It is a big deal. You did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who are out there, understand that it's still a choice. Even though for her, she knew to do it. Even if no one's telling you out there who may be listening that you need to show up on a consistent basis, I'm telling you right now, simply showing up to school every day on time, going to class, you would not believe how much further you can get, whether you have good grades, bad grades, whatever kind of grades, if you just show up every day. And, don't get me on my soapbox about that, because just there's a lot of kids out there, they just don't show up. So, Nadia, I'm glad you did. All right. How much more time do we have left? Because oh my goodness, we only have 10 minutes left? 9 minutes. Okay. Here's the deal, Nadia. I've been saving this because I'm so excited about it. And I want you to tell your story now. You're almost done. This is your last semester at FAMU. What are your opportunities? What are the choices that you have? What are you looking at? What's been presented to you? I don't want to know exactly what you're going to choose, because I know you don't know yet, but what are your options? Because you have options, and I'm super excited about it. So I hope you are too.
Yeah, I really am so thankful to have the options that I have. I think graduating, that was my main goal, to have options And even now, like, I'm still working to create more for me. There's, a lot more opportunities that I need to take hold of that I've been kind of slacking on. But as far as right now, I do have an option to work at Liberty Mutual Insurance as a actuarial analysis. It'd be like a rotational program, kind of helping me to work towards becoming an official actuary. So that is very exciting. I got that role after my internship, after I presented,
Okay, so walk me through that timeline. I know we talked about nuggets of it. So did it start with the thing that you went to every week, or did it
So
start with
that
going
was,
to the internship?
that started with the internship. They have the opportunity to just get an offer at the end.
Okay, is
And
this
so
when
you
you went to
have
Boston?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about that. What did you do to get that internship? Where was it, and then what happened?
So the program that I was in, the Excel program, it was a guaranteed internship that came with it. So I accepted my offer, and Liberty Mutual was always on my mind. Like, I always wanted to work for them. So it was no doubt on my mind that I was going to be interning with them. Went to Boston. They gave me my projects. I did two projects. I was supposed to do three, but I ended up doing only two. And I worked on teams that weren't necessarily connected to, I guess, my initial team. Like, there was a team of actuaries, but then there also was some people that I was working with to work on these projects. And I helped build an app to streamline some of the processes that underwriters and actuaries work with. And then I also made a dashboard of a lot of macroeconomic indicators that help actuaries to create like a summary of what's going on in the economic world.
So it sounds to me like you did some work. Is what it sounds like. This wasn't just play time. You were in Boston. What were your hours? When did you have to go to work?
It was I think it was 9 to 5. I definitely worked, overtime working on these projects. I was up late at night sometimes just working on them because it was so important to me to have the best presentation at the end of the day. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love the projects that I worked on a lot, and it helps me to make decisions on what I like, what I'm interested in, what I want to do in the future.
That is awesome. I didn't realize you did that much. That's a lot. So that was the summer of your sophomore and junior year, or
that was the summer of my junior year.
Okay, so last summer. Okay, so you got the Liberty Mutual thing. Okay, now you're back at school. So now what? Because I know you still have a couple of other options too.
Yes. So we have a career fair every year, and that's a very good resource for more jobs and opportunities. So I went to the career fair, and I was just walking around. There's not many insurance companies that come around there, and there's not a lot of people that know what actuarial science is.
Right.
But I just, I talked to every insurance company I could find. So I talked to this one insurance company called USI. It's a brokerage. And I just spoke to the lady. She was like, "Oh, just scan this right here." I was like, "Okay." Scanned it, and I got a text later, and they were like, "We want to interview you to work in the Tampa office." So I was like, "Okay, sounds cool." I interviewed with them. I interviewed to do 2 different positions there. I got one position, and so I have an offer with them to work in Tampa. It is not actuary based, but it's dealing with risk and analysis, and so I'm excited about that one as well.
This is great. I mean, it's you got to remember where first of all, we all started in elementary school simply just making good grades, going up through high school, making good grades. But I love the fact, Nadia, that you started with some friend of yours who just mentioned a word, and you went and you Googled it, and you took that one word and you found schools for yourself, applied to school, found the major, went to a school, then found more money to stay at the school, then found externships and internships and jobs that you have now. And it all started from one friend telling you one word and one Google. And I need for kids out there to understand it can happen. It doesn't matter what it is you want to study. So many kids are focused on football or basketball or a sport or whatever. And I like that you explained, Nadia, that you just liked math. You didn't really want to be a math teacher, but you enjoyed math. And you took that skill and turned it into something that's now going to have you making more money than me. But that's okay.
Yes.
I just think that your story is fantastic. And tell me quickly, because I always do a rerun of what I like to call the Fantastic Five. So I talk about the fee waiver. I talk about filling out the Common App. I talked about finding your counselor to get your transcripts sent. I talk about your FAFSA and forwarding your test scores. So out of those Fantastic Five, which one do you think kind of gave you some trouble that you would really suggest kids get on right now and start having a plan for?
After the hours, the community service hours, I think that is one of the things that people are kind of like forget about. So I think that is something that needs to be worked on from the very beginning of high school, and then, getting those in on time. I think there's a deadline for those as well. So that's very important.
Yeah, that is really good. And that's through that. I incorporate the FFAA when you have to fill that out for your Bright Futures. I talk about that within the FAFSA because that's, a specific Florida thing, the FFAA. The FAFSA is national. Everybody has to fill that out. And in Florida, everybody should fill out the FFAA. So I'm glad you mentioned that so that, if you're listening, you understand that there is some stuff you can do now, even as a 9th grader. Do your community service. Guess what, Nadia? You might not know this. Do you know that work hours count now?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I know. I knew you're going to be mad. Yeah. So you can, if you just have a job now, it's 100 hours, you document it, you get it signed off on. And so now students have an opportunity if they want to do a combination of work hours or a combination of volunteer hours. That's another easy way that students can get their hours for Bright Futures. Well, Nadia, thank you again for everything. Is there anything else that you want to mention that you think could be encouraging to students at all?
Not much, but just, everything will work out in your favor. Everything will, you'll be, in the future, you'll be finding that, grateful for where you are. Just be grateful for where you are right now.
Thank you.
So that's all I can say.
And that's a lot. And you know what? You're right. Everything is going to work out if you show up. And I think you have shown that you have definitely shown up throughout your high school and college. Thanks again, Nadia. She is a senior at FAMU.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. I can't wait to see you in a couple minutes or a couple hours. I'm sure I'll probably be at your house soon. But thank you all, everyone else, for joining us on College Cash. Remember, this is the podcast all about keeping money in your pocket during your educational journey. I'm Money Michelle signing off. My goal is to navigate you to nuggets of information, hopefully worth thousands of dollars. Toodaloo!
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like